What is going on, Jets Nation, and welcome back to the Flight 5. We had a little bit of different intro there, a little draft version for you. We're here from the studios live a few days before the draft for the draft party at Stout for the U Stadium draft party event. You guys got to grab your tickets if you still want to come. There's a few tickets left, so definitely hop on that. That's ustadiumnfl.eventbrite.com. But we are here tonight. We're going to talk a lot of NFL draft. We're going to be joined by Justin Pugh of Syracuse and UCONN linebacker Sio Moore. Get into some schedule release. But first off, we got Wes, as always, to my left.
Yeah, no rap lyric today. You know, I just want to say, as someone who grew up just about an hour outside of Boston, growing up in Massachusetts, I know this is a Jet fan show, but just like to send out our thoughts, our prayers, our condolences to anyone who was affected by the Boston Marathon massacre, pretty much. It's a horrible thing. Our heart goes out to them. We hope for this 1 hour we can at least provide a little bit of distraction. I know we've all had the news on today, kind of watching everything unfold. So definitely our heart goes out to everyone involved in there. But we hope for this next hour we can take your mind off it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. And to Wes's left, you got Mr. Frank Vittorini, as always.
How are we doing? And I know everyone's going to be smiling looking at me on today's show.
That's
a
good point.
It's going to put
Frank
everyone in a good mood.
There you go.
Always.
And there's, of course, Bill on the couch. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing great.
Well, let's not waste any time.
A few words.
Exactly. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. The NFL released their regular season schedule yesterday, and obviously it's a very anticipated thing amongst Jet fans. They want to see what games are going to make road trips out to, what home games, where and when, how many primetime games and whatnot. But we have the schedule up for you right there. We open up with the Revis Bowl. Who knows what team we'll be playing on. Maybe we'll be playing against them. Maybe we'll be playing for us. That's week 1. A couple of interesting notes. Only 2 primetime games this year. So right off the bat, week 2 on a Thursday night against New England. So that means the Jets will be playing 2 games in 5 days. Luckily it is. I like the fact that it is slotted right at the beginning of the season, so there's not going to be any wear and tear, really. So it's good to get that Thursday night game out of the way. So you have New England week 2, and then you go to week 5. They go to Atlanta on a Monday night, which will be a very interesting game. That to me is the game that really sticks out. Because if Revis is still here, Revis and Cromartie versus Roddy White and Julio Jones is right off the bat. That's a great matchup. I don't know if you can find a better matchup in the league between 2 better cornerbacks and 2 better receivers. But I don't know, guys. What about you? Anything stick out in any game or stretch of games? I don't know. What about you, Wes? What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, just to note quickly, I think it's great that the Jets only have 2 primetime games for a team that's been so in the forefront of the media right now. I think it's kind of good that, given everything, their rebuilding period, quote unquote, that they're going to take a little step back in the limelight. But getting into the actual schedule, I think there's a 5-game stretch starting from weeks 5 to 9 that you look at that's going to be really critical at deciding how well this team does, whether they're going to go to the playoffs or not. You're looking at that Monday night game at Atlanta, then home against Pittsburgh, home against New England, at Cincinnati, then home against New Orleans. Those are 5 very tough games, and the Jets are lucky enough to have 3 of those 5 at home. So if they can come out winning 2 out of those 5, I think that leaves them in a good stretch heading into the bye week.
Yeah, and that bye week, like you said, week 10. So I mean, that's
absolutely, you want that bye week right in the middle, right? That's how
exactly.
I feel like that's most ideal.
And there's no way the Jets are going to lose all 5 of those games. By the way.
No,
I've seen
I think
some people have been
that
tweeting
Cincinnati game. I think they can win that Pittsburgh game. You always look at kind of chalking up the New England.
I think we could beat New Orleans. I think we match up well against them.
Yeah, what's key about New Orleans? The Jets are home against New Orleans. That's a big.
That's
a big break.
Big aid as well. Absolutely. But to kind of go back to last year and kind of gauge it, is that a similar tough 4-game stretch in a 6 weeks period that resulted in a 2-4 record. And that was very early on in the season, going out to Pittsburgh, playing New England, playing a couple other teams that are there was that 49ers shutout game in there as well, and the Texans game. Those are all playoff teams that they ended up going up against. Everyone marked that point as a big point, big transitional point for this team, and we saw how they came out at it. So that's what I'm pinpointing in this season.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Frank? What sticks out?
Oh man, week 17, we're at Miami. Now, Nick, you remember last time we were at Miami for the last week of the season, right?
I do.
Nick's boy Holmes went buck wild, but yeah, I'm curious to see how the Jets are gonna be going into that game because Rex is actually 3-5 against the Dolphins, so he has a losing record, and he also has a losing record in December. He's 8-9, so it's gonna be a big game. We'll know where the Jets are at that game. And Miami's rumored to be pretty good too, so they have some big signings on our end. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see where we're at because it always seems like, you know, everything hits the fan against Miami. So that'll be the last week of the season. We'll see where we stand, and I think it's going to be an interesting game. And it's going to come after Nick was a real fatty on Christmas. So it's December 29th, so it's going to be interesting.
What about you, Bill?
I'm looking early in the season. I'm looking at week 4 at Tennessee. Not only is it the Sean Green reunion that we all are looking forward so much anticipating, but it's interesting because it's the furthest west that we're going to travel this season, and we know as Jet fans that, you know, the West Coast has not been friendly to us. We have a 38-62 record against teams in their stadiums on the West Coast. You know, this is Oakland, who we seem to play every year. We have them on the schedule this year again, but we're at home this year, and you know, teams like San Diego and Denver they're really foes for us out there when we have to travel west. But Tennessee is as far as we go west this season, so I thought the Jets caught a little break there.
And I thought the last time we played Tennessee, it would have been Sanchez's last.
Yeah,
but that wasn't the case.
Performance that game was, right?
Why was it any different from any other one? We're not going to get into that.
That was on the national spotlight.
Yeah, we're going to keep it low on the Sanchez hate tonight.
We are going to open up the phone lines, guys. Before we do get a call from Justin Pugh from Syracuse and Sio Moore after that, UConn linebacker, do a little bit of a draft special here for you. Here's from some of the guys who the Jets may or may not have interest in, but either way, 2 pretty good prospects who could be, you know, middle to later round, you know, maybe 3, 4 rounds. Maybe the Jets could have interest. They do need some offensive line help. They do need linebacker help. So we'll talk to Justin Pugh. We'll talk to Sio Moore. But we'll open up the lines now. 914-595-4871. Skype us, Zadalza NY, and keep tweeting us at 5 and Live. We'll definitely hit you up over there. We'll interact throughout the show as always. So, but anyway, guys, the Jets had their pre-draft press conference with John Idzik, Terry Bradway, and Jeff Bauer, the director of college scouting. I think it was 2 days ago. It was on Wednesday afternoon.
Yep.
And you know, not too much comes out of it. You hear Idzik really not really biting into the media. The media's trying to throw him some lines, and he's not really biting in terms of the Revis situation. He's saying, you know, we had a good talk. Nothing forward. What's good for Revis in terms of where he's going to work out is good for the Jets. So what they want, whatever's best for Revis. On the surface, that's what Idzik is saying. And then another interesting note was the Tebow situation, because he was asked, you know, he mentioned David Garrard and Mark Sanchez for the quarterback competition. Then he was asked, is Tebow in it, because he notably left him out, and he wouldn't say. He says, I'm not going to say he is, and I'm not going to say he's not. So that was an interesting note. We'll see what unfolds with that. Whether from a week from today, if Tebow is even on the roster or not, if he's cut after the first round.
You know what I just thought of?
Round.
We didn't even discuss this in you know, our meeting beforehand, but maybe they're in negotiations. That's why, you know, Idzik didn't want to play his hand saying one way or the other. Maybe they're negotiating something with Tebow's camp, so they didn't want to let anything out.
Yeah,
well, and I think
for bargaining power, you know,
absolutely, how they're going to handle it. I think Idzik's been very on the board, on the record, as saying he's not going to discuss anything that's talked about as far as player contracts or dealings or anything like that. It goes
exactly, yeah. So, but if he's willing to say Garrard and Sanchez, who are going to be here next year, I mean, he's not saying anything with Tebow. There must be something going on there. You know what I mean?
I think it's all been known that they've been actively trying to shop Tebow around. It's just a matter of finding a potential suitor for him, and getting something for him. I don't think they even care if they get back a 7th round pick, a compensatory pick, whatever it is. I think they just are ready to move on from this altogether. And that's kind of how I feel, without getting too much into it.
Right. We're going to actually have Brenda Skyping, and we're going to take her Skype in real quick.
Whoa, early tonight.
Yeah, I know. That caught me off guard a little bit. How are you, Brenda?
Hey, guys. I'm fine. How are you?
I can't complain. You know, the weather was decent today. We got the draft coming up, the draft party next week, so really nothing to complain about.
Nick gave me a really warm hug earlier today, so I put a smile on my face.
The hugs are warmer in the spring, you know?
Yeah, he's very hot, Nick.
What game on the schedule this year, is there one you're really looking forward to? I know you wanted to Skype in and mention something.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of looking forward to that first one, because I think that's really going to give us a true idea of what's going on and what our season's going to be like. I know we can sit here and talk about, what we would like to see them do. And, you guys know me, I'm couch coaching constantly. So, I'm just going to be interested to see that very first game.
Yeah, I mean, unless it is like what happened last year against Buffalo, where we looked like the best team in the league, and then, it happened the rest of the way. But this isn't Buffalo. Tampa's a little bit of a better
Tampa's
team.
really good. Tampa's going to be surprisingly good
Tampa
next year.
Tampa is going to be. Because recently in the past, and, the Jets have opened up with kind of softer games.
Well, there's a little disclaimer on this Tampa Bay game. Let's keep in mind that they did have the worst pass defense in the league last year, which could make Sanchez or whomever the quarterback is look awesome.
That could also be fixed with one player and one trade, too. And
that's also true.
And I'm interested to see how the Jets, their rush D is going to line up against Doug Martin.
Yeah.
Doug Martin's proven to be one of the best backs in the NFL, and I want to see how they come out. And we're going to have a ton of new guys playing in there. I mean, so we'll see how that stacks up.
You saw how bad the Jets' run defense was, particularly in the earlier season, as they kind of shifted that defense a little bit to that 46 style. You got Carl Dunbar on the line. You have some young guys coming in there stepping up, and now you have these old guys who are going to be replaced, whether you thought they were players or not. You still have to find active bodies to fill those holes.
Yeah, and it was funny because Rex had his pre-draft press conference as well, a phone just with the media, and he was asked, they were trying to make him get into something about the Revis trade, and they said, why do you think Tampa was put on the schedule first? And he said, maybe because Schiano was coaching at Rutgers, so it was kind of funny. But that kind of takes me back to the pre-draft process and then the pre-draft press conference with Jeff Bauer. And an interesting note was he brought up the fact that he, with everything going on, everybody really doubting this quarterback class, saying it's nothing special. You have Geno Smith, and then the rest of the pack is very, whichever way you want to go, Manuel, Nassib, Glennon. I don't know, Wes, do you buy that this 2013 quarterback draft is underrated, like Bauer said, or?
No, I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell that idea, and not because I think that they're overrated. I just think that they're rated exactly where they are. I think that they are just a bad product of the timing of all of this. They have to follow up the great 2013 or 2012 draft class of Andrew Luck, RG3, Russell Wilson, Ryan Tannehill. I won't put Brandon Weeden in there, but he was a first-round guy that was taken. And then you look at next year. Next year, you got a whole nother crop of 5 or 6 guys who are slated to be great. The A.J. McCarrons, Aaron Murrays, Taj Boyds, Teddy Bridgewaters, Zach Mettenberger from LSU, Johnny Manziel if he chooses to come out as a redshirt sophomore. These are big, high-profile names that are coming from the power conferences that are, I think, have a bigger chance of being great in the NFL. These guys that come out now, if Geno Smith is at the top of the list, I'm not sure where he would have been taken in last year's draft. Definitely not ahead of RG3 or Andrew Luck, that's for sure.
Well, even if you guys think about, if you even go backwards to the draft class when there was Tim Tebow, think about that for a minute. You had Sam Bradford, you had Colt McCoy. Think of all the guys that you had that was supposed to be such a strong draft class that year.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that really is. I remember I was looking at some old Tebow / draft videos, and they were saying, who do you think is going to be the best out of the 3? Bradford, McCoy, or Tebow? And they were asking a bunch of guys on NFL Network and like ESPN First Take. So it was interesting to see the takes of all of them.
What do you think about this draft class, Frank? You think you buy that it's underrated?
I think it's very underrated. I really do. I like this draft class a lot at the QB position. I really do. I think one guy who's going to is a big sleeper, and I think he's going to be a first-round pick. I've been up on him all off-season, is Mike Glennon. Mr. 6'7". The guy is ridiculous. I'm telling you right now, when I look at these big quarterbacks, I just see a guy like Glennon who makes every throw and stays high and strong in the pocket. The guy delivers the ball. Yes, sometimes he gets a little slouchy, but so do a lot of these tall quarterbacks. So does Peyton Manning at times in his career. I mean, they're just these big guys with they have these weird shaped necks and stuff. They're just going to look a little, they're going to look a little slouchy at times, but he makes every throw, and I really like Mike Glennon and Geno Smith. I like Geno Smith a lot, too. I think they're both worthy of a top 15, top 10 pick. I really do. I don't see how Ryan Tannehill is a top 10 pick at 8, and, everyone's sort of comfortable with it. He sort of played into that 8 spot last year. The Dolphins like him. But, Glennon's considered a second rounder. I mean, I agree with Cosell. I agree with him. I think Glennon is right up there as the best quarterback in this draft, and I think he could even, I've seen a couple years Geno and Glennon being, sort of like a Luck and RG3 in terms of how people look at them. I know it sounds crazy, but I really do feel that way. I see Flacco all in Glennon, Flacco Eli mixed. I really do.
But that's a huge difference from comparing them to arguably the 1 and 1A best players in last year's draft, hands down. That's what they were regarded as. And then Glennon, you see him coming out as a potential day 2 pick. Potentially work his way up to the first round. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have a tough time comparing those guys together.
That's kind of to my point, Wes. I'm gonna say yes, that they are definitely underrated. Underrated. I like to use undervalued, maybe doubted a little bit. I think football is a very mental sport, and you remember with Aaron Rodgers, to use the obvious example, is when these guys are kind of doubted, it sets up that mentality of well, I'm going to show these guys wrong. You know what I mean? So it's going to, I think these guys are going to have the mental strength coming into this league to prove a lot of the doubters wrong. They're going to want to do that in year 2. They're going to want to do that in year 3. So I think a lot of these guys are being undervalued, and I think they're going to surprise.
I think what it is too with a guy like. Sorry to cut you off.
No, and I want to make one more point, that if you look around the league now, a lot of teams have their starting role filled. You can look at a team like the Jets, who the fan base wants the quarterback replaced. Yes, but they have the guy on their roster there, and a lot of these guys are going to come into this league, kind of old-fashioned, kind of into that backup role and have those 1 or 2 years to sit, and that's how these guys are going to kind of get their legs underneath them and really prove in years 2 and 3.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to build off of is Glennon and Geno Smith, I don't think should come in and play day 1. I don't think as rookies.
Even Smith, yeah.
No, I don't. I really don't.
High of a pick, really.
But you know what? To me, it's a long-term process with these guys. With Luck and RG3, you're going to bring them in and they're ready right away. That's why they were 1 and 1A. I think though, if you look long-term, 3-4 years down the line, you're going to get value in Geno Smith and Glennon. That's I think is right up there with RG3 and Luck, because at the end of the day, it's about winning a Super Bowl.
Right.
And look at what Joe Flacco did. I really think, and this might sound crazy too, I think Glennon's in just as good of a position to win a Super Bowl coming into a team waiting 2, 3, 4 years than even Andrew Luck, who's got to just propel this Indianapolis Colts team to something great and never really faced much adversity. Was always a golden boy. I can see Glennon coming in and sort of taking over a role. Seriously, I really do. I have that much faith in him.
How to build up that much of expectation?
I mean, whether he's on the bench for 2 or 3 years and then he comes in like a Rodgers and just does it in 2 years after that, 5 years, or you're working for 5 or 6 years like a Luck, what's the difference? At the end of the day, if you're not winning a Super Bowl, a lot of these owners don't really care. I mean, they want to make money, but
isn't it a little unfair that you're comparing him to a guy, one, who just came off a Super Bowl, but two, was put in a great position to be behind a great running back, one of arguably the top 5 running backs in the game, arguably one of the top 5 defenses in the league year in, year out since he's been in the league.
Who are you talking about?
Flacco.
Oh, okay.
But you're comparing Mike Glennon to Flacco in the sense that he can win a Super Bowl. I think a lot of players can win Super Bowls, but it's just being selected by the right team and put in the right position to do so.
There's one thing
falls out of their hands at that point.
It does. There's one thing Mike Glennon does that I think separates him from the people that have been 6'5s and have just flopped, like the Jamarcus Russells and whoever else you want to bring up. Mike Glennon, when he's throwing the football, I'll say it again, he doesn't flinch. He gets knocked blindsided, and the guy's eyes are always open. He delivers, and that arm is beautiful. That's all you need. Beautiful arm. Don't flinch in the pocket. Stay strong. Move well. Big. I think he's a top 15 pick. If people pass up on this kid because they want to get, I don't know, an Ezekiel Ansah, I just don't see the rationale. It's a long term. It's about winning a Super Bowl, and quarterbacks do that. I mean, we're talking about Revis and Milner before, and I brought up a good point. I'm like, who were the Ravens cornerbacks last year? They really didn't have anyone. I mean, Ladarius Swift got hurt, so you don't even know. I mean, Jimmy Smith was still playing slot. We're
talking a whole different position now.
The quarterback will win you
to keep it on the quarterback. There's certain
a quarterback on a roll will win you a Super Bowl. That's the point. Joe Flacco went on a roll at the right time. He was terrible at points during the season. He had the 2 lowest QBRs in 2012 ever recorded in the history of QBR. But he went on a roll, just like Glennon. He's like that. He goes on rolls, and when Glennon goes on rolls, he's ridiculous. I'm just saying. I think think the kid's a top. I think he's a first-round pick easy. I don't know.
I think the underrated is an odd term. I think what Bill said before is the undervalue. It's different than in years past because, and Frank, you brought up the point about how owners want to sell tickets and make money. Well, when they're drafting these quarterbacks, and there's going to be a quarterback drafted in the top 10. Absolutely, it's just going to happen.
Yeah,
it always
well,
does.
and with the new
they
salaries,
want them to come in and they want them to play because they need to sell tickets. But anyway, we're going to switch gears a little bit, guys, because we do have Justin Pugh right now, offensive lineman from Syracuse, giving us a shout. What's up, Justin? How are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, man. What are you getting ready for next week? It's always the weekend. I feel like it's this weekend, but you getting ready for next week?
Yeah, exactly. I got a couple more days here until that Thursday rolls around, and then it all gets rolling after that.
I understand. You told me before that you were at the Syracuse team dinner. How's that going?
Oh yeah, it's a senior banquet. Honoring some of the guys that played here, and some of the former players are here. So they actually get the dinner going in like a half hour, so I got a little time to talk.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll start it up real quick, Justin. What teams have shown the most interest in you? Is there maybe one or two teams that you really have in the back of your mind that you're gonna expect to get that phone call from that area code on, whether it be Thursday or Friday? Is there a few that sticks out?
Not really. I mean, I've known every team in the combine. A lot of teams like me. I had 10 actually. Now I have one tomorrow. 10 private workouts / like some visits that I've gone on. So really, I mean, I can't finger point and say one team is particularly interested. A lot of teams like me, which I guess is a good problem to have. And
sure.
We'll find out come Thursday or maybe Friday which team that is. So I'm just excited to get to that point and find out where we're playing ball for the next 4 to 5 years.
Is it one quick thing before I'll hand it off, Wes? Is it kind of, I don't want to say an ego thing, but do you want that first round draft selection? Obviously, right? You really want that?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously it'd be great to be a first round pick. It's a great honor to be one of the first teams, one of the first guys taken on your team. But at the same time, I mean, the pick doesn't define what kind of player you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
If I come in and I'm a 7th round pick, you're going to work just as hard. It's all about your mentality once you get there. So my whole thing is to go in and compete and try to win games and win that starting spot and try to help that team get to the playoffs and a little bit further after that.
The little extra cash doesn't hurt either. Get a couple extra mil,
yeah, exactly.
take a nice yacht out somewhere, why not?
All right, Justin. Looking over a lot of stuff, a lot of scouting reports on you. There was a lot of draft experts that loved you on film, but grew weary when they saw your measurements, particularly on your arm length. Said you had short arms. Can you kind of explain how that's possible? Because I don't understand how they can love you on tape, but then see your arms and suddenly not like you, like your arms grew shorter or something.
I just laugh when I hear about it now. I mean, I didn't even know I had short arms until I got to the Senior Bowl, and they all said, hey, your arms are a half-inch smaller than they should be. So that's all of a sudden a big red flag. But, guys like Joe Thomas, Brian Balaga, Jake Long, they all have, like, right around 30, 33. I know Joe Thomas is the same arm length as me, and he does all right for himself. So it's something where I can't control it, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go out there and play. I mean, if teams want me to play guard, I'll play guard. If they want me to play center. But some teams have expressed interest in me playing tackle at the next level. So really, it's all about what you do once you get on that field. And I played against Chandler Jones, who probably has one of the longest set of arms in the NFL, and I held my own against him for the past 3 years. So I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, Justin, I'm looking at a new mock draft that just came out, and they had you going 38th to the Cardinals. So, with Carson Palmer being there, you better hold up that block real long. Carson likes his time over there. But what I was going to ask you is, a lot of people are saying that, and scouts in particular, that moving to guard might be the way to go with you. What do you think about that?
Oh, I mean, the whole thing is just getting there and getting an opportunity to play. Teams only travel 7 offensive linemen, so having that versatility to be able to play center and tackle, I think, is going to help me out a lot. I think that if a team takes me, they want me to play guard, I can play guard, and if I need to in a pinch, go out and play tackle. If you need a center, I can do that as well. So I think it's something that is definitely going to help add value to my stock and hopefully get me into that conversation in the first round, maybe early second on Thursday, Friday.
All right, Justin, a bunch of Jet fans over here. If the Jets were to pick you, what intrigues you the most about joining Gang Green?
Oh, I mean, just the history that you guys have coming in, just knowing one of the greatest cities to play in, great fan base, great defensive teams you guys had in the past, and you guys run the ball. It's something I love about the Jets, the way you guys set up that run, set up the pass, and then play good defense. I think it's a great way to play football. Playing in the Pinstripe Bowl, we actually got to come to the facilities, and they're state of the art. So it'd be awesome to play in that city and play for that team.
Nice.
Awesome.
Did you get a chance to meet Rex? Did they bring you in for a workout, or did they kind of at your pro day go check you out?
I didn't have a private workout with him, but I did meet with the Jets at the Combine. And I met with every team in the Combine, so I got to meet with them and the scouts, and it was definitely a good feeling. But a lot of times, some teams that you don't think are interested at all, they end up taking you, and teams that have been talking to you the whole time don't get you. So really, we'll see what happens come draft day and how the offensive linemen come off the board.
Mm-hmm. Again, guys, this is Justin Pugh, offensive lineman from Syracuse. You can follow him on Twitter at, Justin? It's just your name, Justin Pugh 67, right?
Yep, that's my name. And
awesome.
One of the Twitter followers, he's the one who got me on the show. So definitely
got to give a shout out to Prime. He wants you to come in and protect his boyfriend Sanchez. So that's why he wanted to get you on the show. But
we could draft
hey,
10 of you.
Hopefully, if it all works out, that'll happen.
What was that?
If it all works out, maybe that'll be happening.
Yeah,
no, we're going to need to draft like 10 different clons of you in order to protect Sanchez. Seriously. Just line you guys all up and just have one receiver run out. That's it.
Hey, I mean,
Justin,
I can't bash you guys. He's a starting NFL quarterback. I mean, that says something.
That's
true. No, yeah, he had his days.
Justin, just to kind of go back to a question, a little remark you made earlier. You said you went up against Chandler Jones for 3 years. Obviously, he plays on the New England Patriots, a huge rival of the New York Jets. How does it going up against a player like that who's been drafted in the first round and has that NFL body, even in the college? Like, how does that prepare you to be drafted in the NFL?
Oh, I mean, it was huge for us. Me and him both didn't know how good we both were until we would go out every day in practice, and it'd be some good battles. I played against his older brother, Arthur, who just won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. So my whole time here, I've been going against guys that are in the NFL and playing in the NFL, so it definitely helps you out a lot. You see the competition day in and day out. So I know going in some games I played against Bruce Irving, Nick Perry, both first-round picks last year. And I think Chandler was the best one I won against, so definitely something I'm excited to get to that next level and see the level of competition, because you know it's the highest, and that's the best thing about football. That's why I love it. The competition is at an all-time high every day, every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that attitude.
Is there a specific scheme that you prefer, or you feel that you fit better in, or like you said with the whole guard and tackle switch, that you can kind of adapt to anything?
Yeah, I mean, where they want me to play, a lot of the zone read scheme teams like me to tackle. A lot of the power gap schemes play guard, but nowadays offenses are so multiple that they want guys that can do it all. And I think I'm a player who can fit in any scheme. So, I mean, we did the zone blocking scheme here at Syracuse. We also ran the power. So it's something I know I'll be familiar with and be able to go in and execute, because having a coach like Doug Marrone, who was an offensive line coach in the NFL, we ran an our offensive system was the Saints. So I'm familiar with the NFL system, and it's just something that I'm excited to get to the NFL and really get that PhD level of learning football. And it's something that's really exciting. I can't wait to get started.
Yeah. Hey, Justin, how good do you think Ryan Nassib could potentially be? We know that you guys played together at Syracuse.
I think he's the best quarterback in the draft.
Wow.
Everyone has Geno ranked up there, but I say look at Ryan, what Ryan did against Geno every time we played him. Ryan's 3-0. I think he had like a 7 touchdown to 1 interception, and Geno had 5 picks and 5 touchdowns. So I think Ryan's going to end up at the end of the day being the best quarterback in this draft, and I look forward to seeing his name called as well on Thursday.
Now, Justin, we were all able to watch Ryan on tape, kind of go over his scouting reports, things like that. But you're with him on a day-to-day basis in the locker room, in the huddle. You get to hear him. What kind of a leader is Ryan Nassib?
I mean, his leadership role just went up a whole other level this year. His confidence, and he kind of put up the swagger. And if you ask any of the guys in the Senior Bowl that were on our team, that were on the team that we played, he comes in that huddle and he takes command of that huddle. And I think that's something that you need in a quarterback, that X factor. And Ryan has it, and I think it's just going to help him out when he gets to that next level. And he goes in there and he works. He's one of the guys. He's not some prima donna. He's like, I'm a quarterback. I want to, do all these different things. He's a guy who wants to go in there, get in the weight room, lift, go out there with his offensive lineman. And it's something I definitely respect him for. And hopefully I can play with him again at the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, before we let you go, Justin, is there a gut feeling on a team or a spot where you'll be taken in this draft, or?
Nick has to get all his insiders.
Right now, my guess is as good as yours. So if you guys want to make a guess for me, you might as well just be the same one as me.
Jets at 39 sounds pretty good to me. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it does sound.
It would sound good to me as well.
All right, awesome.
All right, cool,
All right,
man.
well, Justin, best of luck, man. Definitely keep in touch, and after the draft, we'll bring you back on, and hopefully you are a member of the Jets, and we'll introduce you to the fan base and to the team a little bit more.
Definitely, that'd be awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a good night.
No problem, man.
All right,
Take care,
best of luck.
All right, guys, we're going to go to break. After that, we'll come back, recap that a little bit. We'll be joined by Sio Moore when we come back and talk about the Jets' dream first-round scenarios for us. And, of course, take your calls, 914-595-4871, Twitter, Skype us, all that good stuff. But Frank's going to take us to break, and we'll come back and we'll get into a little more first-round.
Got a little cup for you guys. Oh.
Al tuo bar, chiedi espresso Optimum. Gusto pieno, metà caffeina. Optimum, il gusto di prenderne un altro.
Whoa! You know what's funny? I only had 2 espressos today, and I'm feeling awesome. Yeah. Listen, I say it every week. If you guys want to get a little pep in your step, and not the pep that I know I'm talking about, there's a better pep in your step you want to get. Drink some espresso. It's great stuff. It gets you up in the morning, gets you going, and it doesn't have the crash symptoms of a coffee drink that you would get at Dunkin' Donuts, etc. So definitely check them out. That's ESSE. That's ESSE Cafe. That's CAFFE. And you can Google them or go on their site. That's essecafe.it. And you could check them out in the New York City area at Eat Ali. That is Eat, EATALY. What a genius that person was who thought of that one. Check them out in New York City, and you can purchase espresso there. Gracias, signori.
Yes, and I got to give a shout-out, of course. That's to Nicole Esther, a sales associate with RE/MAX Country Realty, whose business is built on the promise of exceptional customer service. Whether you're selling your home or searching for that special place to call your own, you deserve to work with someone you trust. Interested in buying or selling? Nicole does it all. Make sure to ask Nicole about her proven marketing plan. She can provide you the maximum amount of exposure for your home. So contact Nicole with your needs and let her get you started today on your next real estate purchase or sale. Call 845, and the number is right up there, 845-590-7959. Log on to NicoleEsther.com or send her a tweet at NJRealtorNIC, and let's go Jets. And guys, before we do get into CO's call and get into the first round scenario, we have a little bit of time here, and we just saw a little bit of breaking news, nothing too official yet, but before we did come onto the show, you saw a Rich Cimini tweet at the Jets and Chris Ivory. Obviously the Jets are very interested in Chris Ivory. They brought him in last week to kind of visit the facility, whether they put him through a workout or whatnot, but there is definite interest there. He did sign his contract today with his restricted free agent contract. That pretty much just means that the Jets can offer, and other teams as well, instead of having to give that second round pick up for a restricted free agent in Chris Ivory, that they can kind of create their own package now, whether it is a 5th round pick, which is reported, saying Rich Cimini said the Jets would absolutely do it. You have Mini Schmady of the Daily News saying that there's an offer on the table already, but I mean a 5th round pick, and maybe even a 2014 next year we will have a few extra picks because of the free agents we lost this year. We should be getting some compensatory picks, as they call them, or maybe with a Revis
you
trade.
You put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Exactly.
There.
Yeah, he did. Yup, he did. Yup.
So whether it's a 5th round this year and you throw in a pick next year, you swap something, swap 6 or swap 5ths and trade something. I think anything after the 4th round for a guy like Chris Ivory is an absolute steal. I want to get your guys' opinions. I think everybody is kind of in agreement.
I don't think anyone's
here.
going to disagree with you on that one. I think Chris Ivory is a young stud who really hasn't had a chance to prove himself. What we were just talking about in the production meetings, never had over 300 yards in his couple years so far in a season. So I think it's good. There's a lot of upside to him. I think you're getting a lot more for what you'd be giving up in that 5th round pick, that 6th round pick, or whatever that may be. I think you're getting a little bit more of a proven player there, which I think is great. And it just creates a bit of a logjam, a bit of a welcomed logjam, at the running back position, where you have no one that's really, as of right now, that's proven themselves to be that main starter. So if you don't have a guy who can be a main starter right now, might as well have a bunch of B guys to kind of come in and be able to spell each other off.
Yeah.
Last time we had a legit running back, we went to an AFC Championship game. So, and I'm talking about Thomas Jones and that. So I think Chris Ivory, if he can come in, him and Powell, and sort of play off each other, I think his potential from an athlete from an athlete, because he can do it all. He can catch balls and he runs very well. Would bring a big spark to this offense. And I understand that it's not a running back driven league, but who's playing quarterback right now? We're going to need a guy that's going to take more of the onus than we can put on a quarterback or a passing game. So I value running backs more with the Jets than I do with most other teams. So I think we need to get Chris Ivory in town. And for a 5th round pick, that's nothing. Are you serious? You're not going to get a 5th round value for Chris Ivory. The guy averages over 5 yards a carry for his career.
Yeah. I'm always leery to give up the draft picks for a running back. But Ivory's on that short list of running backs I'd sacrifice the picks for, because you look at Chris Ivory, there's not much tread on the tires. He's a lot, he's shown some good flashes. He reminds you of Marshawn Lynch when he runs. So I would give up. I'm willing to part with the very valuable draft picks for a running back.
And it's interesting because the Jets have to absolutely love this guy, because Idzik has put a priority on the fact that the draft is going to be a lifeline for the Jets, and they're not going to really just give up a draft pick like the Jets have in the past.
Exactly.
So if there's a guy in Chris Ivory who's out there for a 5th round pick, obviously the Jets, which it seems that they're going to quick to jump on, bring right in. And I think between him, Goodson, and Powell splitting carries, you're looking at a much improved backfield than we did last year. So if you do get a Stephen Hill healthy, and you do get Santonio Holmes healthy, and you figure out what you do with tight end in the draft, you can, whoever wins that quarterback competition, if you want to call it that, I think you are looking at a better and a more improved offense in terms of at the skill positions like receiver and running back, and hopefully they can improve on tight end. But Ivory's a guy, I wanted him 2 years ago before last season that I would have loved to trade.
Well, and wasn't it rumored last year that they were going to get him before the trade deadline?
No,
or
the Lions
he was going to be
were very
waived?
interested in him.
I'm sorry?
The Lions were very interested in Ivory.
Okay.
And they
I thought the Jets were.
The Saints never were willing to part ways with him, though. They knew how good he was, I feel like, and they just never really wanted to get rid of him, even though they have Ingram, Thomas, and Sproles. So they still kept him. They still kept him as a 4th. If you keep a 4th running back on the roster, he's obviously really valuable in some sense to you, whether it's now or down the line. So I think if Chris Ivory comes to the Jets, I think he's gonna take most of the carries after it's all said and done. You don't want the guy to get hurt, but he's gonna be our main back, as you want to call it, our prime back.
I think he fills that starter role right away.
I do too.
I don't think Powell does. I just don't think Bilal Powell's going to come.
I think I'd feel a little.
Do you
more
really? You think Powell can be the primary running back?
I think he can get 20 to 25 carries a game.
Bilal Powell, 20 to 25 carries.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think he could.
Interesting.
I'm not sure how great he would be. I think Ivory would be better suited for it, but I think Powell can carry the load. Yeah.
And you're forgetting about Mike Goodson too, as well. They just brought him in on I think it was a 2 or 3 year deal. It wasn't just a 1 year tryout that they can just stash him there. Goodson's going to play, and Goodson's going to play a lot.
He's that change of pace kind of kick return. I think it spells the end for Joe McKnight finally.
Yeah, whether or not he's on just special teams strictly as the kick returner.
I think Goodson's known as he's the guy to kick.
Well, if they want Goodson to play more of that that second back, and he's going to get like 10 to 15 carries a game, you take him off as special teams.
But you think of like a Leon Washington. I mean, he's not Leon Washington, but you think of his role.
Yeah, you don't want to know. You don't want a guy who's about some nonsense. That's what I call him. Idzik's a no nonsense guy, and then you have guys like McKnight who bring some nonsense to the team. I mean, how do I know that? I really don't, but I see. I see practices. I check out the games. You can just tell there's something about Joe McKnight. Wesley and I saw him at a charity event. He's got something about him where I could see him not fitting in a system that's really rigid and strict. I mean, he's a little out there. So, I mean, remember in Hard Knocks, he couldn't even, get in shape.
Yeah, but I thought we were talking
he wasn't even in shape this year.
In a 6-10 season, give him a chance. Give him a little more carries than what he had. Just give him an opportunity to kick the tires, see what he's got. I feel like every time that he's been given a good amount of carries,
that's with a lot of different positions.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, you're bringing in all these other guys to kind of bring in a guy who offers his type of skill set without even letting him prove whether he can fulfill that skill set or not. This is a 4th round pick. I mean, this is a guy from USC who's pretty highly touted coming out of college there, who slipped. I think it was for injuries and work ethic reasons, which apparently is holding true today.
Yeah, and that's what it is. You mentioned the 6-10 season, so it makes me wonder what what did this guy do, or how was he viewed on the team that he didn't even get a shot? I kind of look at it from a different perspective.
What that says more about
that's
him.
more about the coaching.
I can see that.
Every
Is
time
it about the coaching?
every time he was thrown into the
we're-
lineup, he made plays. Whether it was that he had for a long while, he had the longest pass play from scrimmage. He was averaging, I think, over like 5 and change per carry. He has the fumble issues on kick returns and whatnot, but every time he was given the ball for a handoff or out of the backfield, he made plays. And
he looked good. Yeah,
he was our most explosive offensive weapon when they would give him the ball. And for whatever reason, whether they said that he couldn't pick up the blitz and he couldn't understand Sperano's system and the game was a little too fast for him, but every time he was in there, he made plays. So it was just beyond me.
You know what the Jets were like last year? You ever watch Click with Adam Sandler when he's on autopilot? Seriously, that was the Jets last year. The whole season they were on autopilot. They didn't even care about even trying new guys out. It was like, all right, whatever. Let's just play with who we got. Why sit and watch extra film when McDonald's is 24 hours down the street with Sperano the fatty? But that's what the Jets were. They didn't even care last year. Last year was like a wash of a season. They just canceled it from the books. I mean, it just didn't even matter. They didn't try anything last year. Literally didn't try anything.
Yeah, they didn't even try the Wildcat, right? They barely tried that with Tebow.
Well, the Tebow.
We brought in
Tebow Cat.
Yeah, we were given like opportunities to Lex Hilliard and Conrad Ruland. Like that was it. Like we tried nothing else on offense. Like Conrad Ruland, he's gonna make a big difference, guys. Watch out. Hey, you might want to put like 2 safeties on him.
He played middle school ball with Mark Sanchez.
Right. I'm not surprised.
that was the big draw to him.
Can they still play now? Can they still roll back?
Middle school though. It was back in middle school.
They still play middle school ball now though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And these guys are men. These guys' balls have dropped at this point.
Let's switch gears, guys. Again, we got Sio Moore calling in, linebacker from the UConn Huskies. Definitely give Sio a shout out on Twitter. That's at Mr. UConn. What's up, man? How are you?
Not much, man. Doing well, man. Enjoying the day today.
Absolutely.
Like every other one.
You getting ready for next week? We just had Justin Pugh on, the offensive lineman from Syracuse, and we were talking to him about. We kind of had the 2 local guys out here. We're out in Westchester County, Northeast guys, so it's cool to bring in the New York and / Connecticut side. But you getting ready for next week?
Those Big East schools.
Yeah, man. I'm just out here just working out each and every day. And enjoying my family and relaxing, but still staying at work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and first off, right off the bat, and I spoke to you a couple weeks ago. We were talking about the Jets and some of the other teams that you were talking to, and just last night we saw Tony Pauline, who's a really good, actually, really good reporter. He reports for DraftInsider.com, and he said that the Jets have a lot of interest in you, whether it is at their 39th overall pick, but he said he has you, and a lot of teams are interested in you in the top 50 of this year's draft. What's up with the Jets and Rex Ryan? Have you heard from any of them?
No, I have not heard from them directly. No, I know I had a brief interview with those guys at the combine. They got to sit down with the linebacker coach, got to do some things, and he was a really good guy. He was a smart guy. I enjoyed the time that I did have with him. To hear that, it's good news. Yeah,
absolutely. Anyway, what's because the Jets run this? They run a lot of different packages on defense. They have Demario Davis, who they drafted out last year, and he moves inside and outside. Where do you see, if you were to be drafted in the Jet defense, where would you see yourself fitting in there more?
Man, truthfully, I couldn't tell you because I don't know exactly what they do. But for me, the good thing, I'm blessed to be able to do more than one thing. And, do them very well. So, I'll be a guy, if they want me to rush the passer, we can go get some quarterbacks. Or they want me to, take a tight end out, we can, go man-to-man on tight end. Or just play in the box, either or.
All right, Sio, I got a question for you here. You got your Twitter handle is Mr. UConn, that kind of represents the school right nicely. It's I don't want to say like the mascot, but a great representation of the UConn Huskies there. Fairly new to the FBS program. They've kind of reached some early success in their young football program careers, so to speak. How have they been able to go from a new FBS team to producing NFL ready talent like yourself?
From Coach Etzel, who brought it up from the beginning, it's a program that's just built on, value and good people. People always worry about talent and all that, but talent is going to get beat by hard work and a guy that wants to be better than talent any day of the week. the thing that Coach Etzel taught us there was, the more you work on the person you are, the better player you're going to be. And that's something that I bought into before he left, and I really believe in. And it was all about hard work and really dedicating yourself to change as a person to make yourself an even better player. And, when Coach Pasqualoni came on, sorry, I was coughing. When Coach Pasqualoni came along, he reinforced the same message and kept it going because, the more you are accountable, the more you're trustworthy, the more you're responsible. As a person, when you get on the field, you're going to hold yourself to that standard. And, I'm so appreciative of those two coaches and the coaching staffs in each group for giving me the things that they've given me throughout the years.
All right, Sio, us at Flight 5, we do a little scouting on our own time, Unless Nick's with his girlfriend, then he's a little busy. But, we do some scouting. So I was scouting you. And
okay.
All right, ready? I'm scouting, and this is what I thought, okay? Everything's great except one thing that bothered me. It bothered me with Melvin Ingram a little bit, too, last year. I feel like sometimes you hesitate making tackles. Can you address that for me? Because I tweeted something, and I don't want to, I don't want you to think I'm a hater or something. I'm not. But I did tweet that, and people were saying, are you going to ask him? And I'm asking you right now. So.
Okay. I don't think I hesitate making tackles. The biggest thing with me, I'm a guy, I like to put myself as well as my teammates in a position where if I can't make a tackle, then they're in a position where I'm playing the ball from, either be outside in or inside out. That way, I'm not leaving myself out to dry just in case. I can give my troops to the ball as well. But for me, I try to be a short tackler at all times. Try to make sure I can wrap guys up. Because the worst thing you can have is broken tackles, and I don't believe in that. I'm not playing linebacker. But I think I go get the ball. I don't try to hesitate to go tackle. But I mean that's a great criticism. Something that I can take with me, so that now when it's time to go stroke people, I can just go ahead and do it and not blink.
Yeah,
you can think of Frank every time you lay somebody out.
Yeah, every time you hit that running back in the hole there, you're just seeing Frank's sweet face.
Yeah, it's like in the water
good
boy.
Motivation.
It's like the water boy with Bobby Boucher.
but Mama said.
Okay,
That's
Sio,
funny.
we all know Rolando McClain came out and said he had a problem with playing out in Oakland when he got drafted, and we're wondering for you, being a local guy, do you prefer the East Coast or do you prefer the West?
I prefer a team that's going to fall in love with me.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the
what
answer.
it is, man.
There's going to be one team that's going to fall in love, and there's going to be 31 others that are going to be pissed.
That's it.
Good answer.
Love that.
I take it like that, man. I really want to go out here and really work, and I'm a guy that's big about working and earning everything that comes my way. And as much as blessed as I am in this position, I can't wait to hear my name called and be drafted. That's just one foot in the door. The other foot is all the work you have to do, and that takes a longer time. And I'm ready to get to it. I really want to be a part of an organization that wants to win, and I want to dedicate myself to that organization with everything I have.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's always, when I watch you on tape and watch UConn play a lot, because it's always on TV out here and being in New York. I see you fitting into a lot of the systems like the Jets do run, Pittsburgh, a Baltimore, maybe even though the Giants do run more of a 4-3 front. I know I asked you before about the Jets. There has to be something you prefer, whether you do prefer that 43 linebacker, that 3-4 inside. Is there something specifically that, at the end of the day, if you had a perfect, to pick your perfect spot, is there one, or is it really just, whichever spot finds you?
Man, the thing is, I really take pride in, and I took pride in playing at UConn, being able to, do all those things well, being able to cover guys, being able to, play in the box, and being able to rush the passer out. There's no greater feeling than getting a sack on the quarterback because you got to beat a guy to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoy the fact that I can do a lot of the things that I'm able to because of my coaches and what they've given me, man. There's not one scheme that I can play in, because I was given the fundamentals and techniques that no matter what position I'm in, I can play and I can win and I can be productive.
So what does it look like now until Thursday? I mean, what do you do? You're probably still working out. I mean, what's going on?
Oh yeah, man. I wake up at 4:45 in the morning, go work down at 5, get done by 6:30, eat breakfast, and enjoy the day with my family.
Oh man, I'm just getting home sometimes at that time.
No, man, I'm serious, man. I dedicate myself to trying to.
That's great, man.
Like, I look at my life and what I've gone through, what I've been through, and people that look to me to be an inspiration, and I can only do the best that I can, and the best that I can is giving everything I got. And for me, that's waking up early in the morning, getting going, before the birds come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
What's up for the draft? I know you're saying you're going to be with your family at home. I know I invited you guys out to the our event that we're throwing in New York City. I know you told me you're watching it with the family.
Yeah. So my grandmother passed away Easter Sunday.
Ooh, sorry about that.
And thank you. I appreciate it. And we laid her to rest on the 13th, this past Saturday, and I had a lot of family come out from Liberia. And, some of them, it's like their first time here. And, it's the first time my mom's been with all her sisters in a long time. And for me, it's just a special time for me to be with family. And I really want to enjoy that because, without my family, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I want to enjoy it with them, at home. Plus, they get to cook.
Oh, yeah. That free catering always works out, right?
That'd be a special moment when your name's called.
Yeah, for sure,
There's
man.
nothing like home-cooked food, man. There's nothing like home-cooked food.
Oh, yeah.
That's 100% accurate right there.
Well,
when you get to the NFL, you're going to be on the run a lot, too, so get it in while you can.
Right.
And we got a lot of, if you are drafted to the Jets here, whether it is at 39 or wherever it is, there's a lot of good tight ends out here. You got Gronkowski and Hernandez, and even though Dustin Keller is a little bit, I don't want to call him soft, but I guess I just did, but you got to be up against some pretty good tight ends, so you're definitely going to need to be able to drop into coverage, so not too much eating this weekend, all right?
Yeah, not too much eating, man. I love going against tight ends, man. That's my little, pet peeve or anger point, if you want to say. I love it. I can't wait to be in a position where I can contribute to a team and, be able to do those things because I want to work with my craft to be able to do them well. Playing against guys in college is different from the NFL. I want to be able to hone in on those skills so that, my team and my coaches, they can really trust me to go man-to-man on guys and let me do work.
Yeah.
And by the way, great job before we let you go, Sio. Great job at the Combine. Top performer in bench press, 40, vertical, and broad jump. Yeah, that's preparation. That's the type of guy that wakes up at 4:45. Get him. Right. Let's get it.
Did we lose him?
It's all about work, man. The one thing that I wake up and tell myself, and it gets me going is, I think about whoever else is out there working or whoever else is waking up and going to work and trying to be great. And my mission is, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm going to outwork.
That's a good way to go about it, man.
That's just my mentality.
Sounds like a Rex Ryan guy, man. That's like right off the bat. So anyway, Sio, we're going to let you go, man. We appreciate the time tonight and, enjoy the family and enjoy your big night, whether it is Thursday or Friday.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, buddy.
All right,
take care.
best of luck.
All right, that was.
See, I asked him the question.
Yeah, I know you
got
did.
it.
I knew you would.
I wanted to ask him like a nice way.
A little nervous though.
I did.
Like you didn't exactly want to go at him all the way.
You know what? Someone wanted me to.
Someone
wanted me to ask him. Drew, my boy, wanted me to ask him about.
He's not your boy. You don't.
Yeah, he's not my boy. No, he is. He's my boy.
Come on, Drew's a cutie. Come on,
my boy Drew. He's a cutie.
By boy, you mean boyfriend? Right?
Boyfriend, yeah. BF.
Speaking of Chris Ivory too. I mean, we all know who talked to who. We all know who found Chris Ivory.
Yeah, I did.
Bill found Chris Ivory, Tavon Austin.
Yeah. Speaking of Tavon Austin,
I didn't find Chris Ivory. Drew did.
I saw a report by CBS that they said, and this isn't, this is them saying some executives around the league believe that the Jets could wind up drafting quarterback Geno Smith and wide receiver Tavon Austin once they land the Buccaneers' first-round pick at 13 for Darrelle Revis, and that was CBS's Jason LaConfora.
As long as I got these shoes around my neck.
Shoes above my neck.
Revis ain't going anywhere.
By the way, you ever go down south? They rock shoes around their neck.
That's what they do. No, that's what they do in the real hood.
That's in the hood, but they do it down south.
I thought you throw those shoes up on like telephone wires to you know, rest peacefully to one of your
No, if you wear them
friends or
around your neck, it's like wearing your chain. It's your shoes, though.
That's right.
Yeah, can't lose them.
Well, what do you think of that?
All right.
What do you think of that?
The shoes
No,
or
not
the report?
shoes.
Oh.
The report.
Listen, I'm good with Geno at 9 or 13 if we end up getting it. But, you know, Tavon Austin for me in the top 10.
You would take the pair, both of them?
I would love the pair. The pair's
Great.
great, but I'd rather Geno Smith and Justin Hunter in the second round.
Hey, you know
what?
But
Can't complain
Tavon
about
Austin's pretty good. But I don't.
Yeah.
Something about Tavon Austin being 5'8", he's like a little shrimp. I just don't know if I like.
But you
if
love
I want to
shrimp.
I love shrimp, yeah, but I don't know if I can trust
report,
that.
Nick? You know what I'm hung up on about is that
As Bill puts his shoes on, you're not looking.
what I'm hung up on is the fact that we're going to have to make this trade with Tampa Bay if it's going to happen. We're going to have to make it a week in advance of this draft, right? So you know, it could be like any day.
I don't
now.
know about that.
But that's what, you know, they want. Tampa Bay wants to get him in there. They want to work him out. They want to have
Too bad.
pass physicals and all this stuff. And so the report comes out like that. You know, that's more likely if we're sitting there at 9 and then we make a trade with Geno and Tavon still on the board. You know what I mean? If we make this trade and have that pick 13th, it's almost really like you can't really put too much into that report. I feel because you just don't know a week in advance.
Yeah, well, let's get into everybody's dream scenario for the
draft
first
day
round
trade, though, that's a real likely possibility.
I mean, draft day is going to be interesting regardless if Revis is still there. If like I saw this report, and this would be my dream scenario, and then we'll go to Wes. Do it quickly because we got to go to the tweeter. I saw Ian Rappaport of NFL.com said the Vikings really want Tavon Austin or Cordero Patterson, and they want to trade up. They have the 23rd and 25th picks. So my dream scenario for this draft and the value, you know, based on Jimmy Johnson's draft value board. The 23rd and 25th pick works for the 9th overall pick, whether the Jets kick in a 7th round pick to make it happen. That, for me, would be the best case scenario because I'm not absolutely in love with anybody in the top 10, not even anybody in this draft in general. Unless Deion Jordan's on the board at 9, even though I've been like pleading for offense, I can't pass up on a guy like Deion Jordan because I think he's the best player in the draft. But 9 for 23 and 25 is my best case scenario. What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, I think just real quick to touch on the Tavon and Geno Smith thing.
No.
I'm not big on taking players together. Thou shalt not draft quarterback and wide receiver tandems from a gimmick system. But anyway, I think the ideal trade scenario is to. Our draft scenario is to trade Darrelle Revis, get that 13th pick from Tampa Bay, like it's been proposed. You take the top offensive lineman available with that 9 pick. Hopefully, is Chance Warmack, maybe a Jonathan Cooper to kind of shore up that interior offensive line, and then take the best available receiver not named Tavon Austin. Because I'm not saying that he's a bad pick, and I know I'm pointing directly at Bill because I feel like Bill's his son right there, but it just doesn't do it for me. Like Bill, Frank just harped on, is that 5'8", 175. That's me in pads. Sorry, can't do it.
Yeah, my dream scenario, I just want a quarterback at 9, whether it's Geno Smith or Mike Glennon. Just give me a quarterback. That's it. If Deion Jordan's there, I'll take Deion Jordan. I like Deion Jordan because of his pass rushing ability. I like Jarvis Jones more, but he has that stenosis syndrome or symptoms, whatever the hell it is, spinal stenosis. I would like a quarterback. I don't trust anyone else, and it's a high risk, high reward, and I'm all about that. Let's get it.
Nice. Bill, is yours just drafting Tavon?
Hey, a dream scenario would be to take him at 9 for me.
A dream scenario would be taking Tavon Austin at 9. Really? That's a dream scenario.
But let's move on from that. My dream scenario I like is keeping the trade winds open with Tampa Bay and trading back from 9 to 13 in a case of D. Milner being up there at 9. A lot of people, you know, with the tackles are going to make the run, everybody's saying, into the top 7 picks. D. Milner could slip a little bit if he's there at 9. I say, you know, we call up Tampa Bay. The value of that trade would be like a 3 and a 5, and you want those mid-round picks in this draft. That's for sure.
I'd absolutely love
so give
that.
them Milner and then take their 3 and 5.
Give them 9. We take their 13.
I would love that.
We could pick a guy
if
like
he's
Austin
around
there.
that far, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you pick up a 3rd and a 4th.
They're going to play the trade. You know, a lot of teams want to trade back, and I don't know if there's any partners that want to move up. But if Milner's there, that's definitely an option. But we are running out of time, guys, so we got to take it to the tweeter.
To the tweeter.
And we do this at the end of the show. We like to shout out some people who we find interesting, funny, silly, whatever you may be, whatever you want to call it, throughout the week, and kind of throw up their tweets here and discuss it. So I'll take the first one, and we'll take it to the tweeter. And this one comes from Jay. We can make that a little bit bigger. It's JG, is that? Yeah, J61G. A lot of Jet fans will disagree with me, but as draft approaches, I have a feeling we will draft Geno Smith at 9 if he's there. I should have gave that one to. Actually, I'm gonna give that one to Frank. What do you got to say to that?
I'm with it.
I'm with it. I would
Totally.
like it. Yes, for sure. Let's go number 2. We got or 3, whatever one's up there. Mike, this is from O'Connor_Jets, and with Chris Ivory now being re-signed by the Saints, he signed his restricted free agent tag. He's actually as good as gone. Can now be traded easily. Looking at you, Idzik. Yeah, we went over that before. We love that. And now that the fact that he did sign that, he becomes property of the Saints. Therefore, they can trade him anywhere for anything. It doesn't have to be for that second-round pick. So
if we get Ivory and Geno Smith.
Yeah, hey.
I'm licking Idzik's face. Yes, I am.
This is a kids-friendly show.
I'm licking his face.
Hey, all right. Let's go to the next one. To the tweeter. This comes from Dan, our boy.
I love this guy.
I can't pronounce his last name, Dan, but you
Nick went nuts when he saw this. By the way,
I'll just call him Dan Sanchez.
He went crazy.
This is to at our boy Drew and at me. I would trade Crow straight up for Ivory. New Orleans needs a secondary. I could not literally me, Bill, and Frank fought for I think 45 minutes in the pre-show meetings.
About an hour.
About this. Frank would do it. Me and Bill wanted to.
I wouldn't do it. What I said was if we couldn't get Ivory and it was just based on the table, I would think about it. Like there's no way to get both. You have to get one or the other. You know, with Revis staying, I would think about it. I love Ivory. And I don't like Cromartie as a leader, so...
Let's go to the... Yeah.
He doesn't have to be a leader.
Everyone has to be a leader.
Last one. This wraps it up for the week. Looking at... This comes from Michael Iconetti, I think it is, yeah. Iconetti. Looking at this Jets schedule, they're going to run everyone over. I'd be shocked if they don't win the Super Bowl. Hashtag too much talent. Hashtag yeah. I mean, yeah, I looked at the schedule too, and based on who we play and where the bye week is, I think we'll come in anywhere from 0-16 and 16-0. I think it'll be between there somewhere. But
bold prediction
actually,
of the
week. Actually, the last one has to come from our boy, Mr. Damian Woody, who you guys can see this Thursday at the U Stadium NFL Draft Night in the city at Stout. Tickets again, UStadium, NFL.eventbrite.com. Damian Woody, Mo Wilkerson, Demario Davis, Prince Amukamara, the Giants, Donald Strickland, and we'll have a few more special guests.
And a Playboy bunny named Runa.
That's true, too.
Nick
Frank's
loves that.
excited.
Nick loves Runa.
This comes from Damian Woody, last one of the night. Trade down and get more picks if possible. This draft needs to be heavy on offense. Got to score to win in this league. Hashtag Jets. Hashtag hell.
That is such a true statement. You have to score to win,
played
man.
in the league, believe it or not. You know, a lot of people don't know that.
Yep.
This guy played in the offense.
Like Warren Sapp said, if you're tough, put a jersey on. Yeah. Anyway.
The saying has switched. You know how they said offense wins games, defense wins championships? It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Defense wins games, offense wins championships. Remember that, Bill?
Ask Joe Flacco about that, right?
Yep.
For the first 5 picks, offense. Come on, let's go.
Hey, I'm with it.
And by the way, if anyone gets an email from a pyramid scheme, don't open it because it's going around. No, we just got one the other day.
I know. They want you to sign an NDA and then they'll sue you. So anyway, don't sign that. Anyway, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Jets draft. We'll have a new player at 9 unless we trade out or miss the pick. Keep missing the pick continuously because we want to draft anybody and we can't make up our mind. But NFL draft this Thursday, 8 o'clock it starts.
Ready.
7 o'clock it starts at Stout.
Thanks to Anthony.
Of course, as always, thanks to Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Anthony's a cutie. Thanks to our marketing dude, Jonathan.
Show him?
Yo.
He's taking notes. We're going to get graded.
Take notes.
It's scouting season, so Jonathan's going to scout us after the show.
There's a lot more behind this operation than just Bill. Just know that. All right.
Hit us up, Twitter,
Bill's just a
Facebook,
face. You know, he's
everything.
a pretty face to look at.
Wes, sign us off, Wes.
Hey, God bless. 2 fingers like a player.
Whoa! Damn, kid.